Hello, everyone. Had some issues recording yesterday, so I hope this is a little better. Any sort of, I don't know. They didn't play with any sort of purpose, and it was almost like they were sleepwalking through the game. Um, what happened was in the third quarter, after getting down by 23 points, I believe the score was 69-46. The Nuggets went on a incredible run to lead by two. I believe they led 77-75. And yeah, they came in and the game was lost thanks to Malone. He was 2 minutes late. I'll get to that in a second. They made an incredible run, and they led 77-75 after two Wilson Chandler free throws. And what happened was they basically stayed within 9 points of the Knicks from there on out. You know, um, but there was a key moment, as this was pointed out in the comment I just read. There was a key moment where the Nuggets stuck with the bench unit that they had, which featured. Let's see. They at that point, I believe they had Emmanuel Mudiay, Jamal Murray, Will Barton, um, Mason Plumlee, and maybe Darrell Arthur. And it was out there for a long time. I don't believe Malone brought back the starters until roughly 7 minutes remaining in the game. I believe that's where it was. So basically, it was almost the entirety. It was 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and I think a couple minutes of the third quarter. Yeah, and plus seven. Thank you. So what that did was it kind of stalled the Nuggets' momentum. The Nuggets were they basically had control of the momentum. The bench unit came in and they didn't play terribly in that stretch, but they didn't play good enough. And the Knicks were able to get up by 9, and then the Nuggets whittled it down to about 5, and kind of it roughly stayed there for the rest of the game until the Nuggets, I think, at one point cut it to 3 or 2 or 3. I think it was 2. It was 106, 104, and then they just couldn't close the deal. Um, one positive thing I'm going to talk about though is the budding real rivalry between Nikola Jokic and Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis got the better of him tonight. He scored 36 points and had pulled down 7 rebounds. Nikola Jokic had 28 points and 8 rebounds. But Porzingis hit some big shots, really big shots, down the stretch. And it was one of those situations that you could see something happening. You could see a rivalry budding. You could see it happening. I think people focus far too much on Nikola Jokic when scoring 40 against a very hapless Knicks club last year, when in reality, Kristaps and Jokic are far more even than even Nuggets fans really want to admit. But that's a good thing. And tonight, Porzingis really was the difference maker for the Knicks. He really was just hitting shot after shot. There are some criticisms I have with the way the Nuggets run their offense. I think they've limited Jokic's playing ability a bit. A lot of that, though, has to do with the fact that, and people are going to really hit me on this, but the Nuggets don't have Danilo Gallinari anymore. And Gallo, for all his faults, and there were many, for all his faults, was able to spread the floor and make plays. And he was an additional ball handler. Wilson Chandler has a different skill set, completely different skill set. And it's one of those situations where you look at what Gallo provided, and it was good for what the Nuggets were doing last year. Um, but what has happened is this year with Millsap, who is more of a post-centric player, it has created an odd dynamic in the Nuggets offense. Yeah, they scored 110 points tonight, but you feel that they could have scored at least 10 more. You know, it was one of those. It was one of those things where you look at the Nuggets and you thought they should have scored more than they did, and undoubtedly, it affected the way the Nuggets the outcome of the game. The Nuggets in the first half really played pretty awful defense. Um, the Nuggets played what I would describe as um, almost as if they had a good night in New York the night before, like they were sleepy. I have no idea if they did, but they played like that. They played really sluggish, and the Knicks were chucking a lot of threes, particularly in that first quarter. They were just everything they were chucking up was going in. Sometimes there's nights like that, but a lot of it was the Nuggets just weren't closing out, and it was kind of lazy defense from everyone. The third quarter was remarkable. And I'm not sure I've ever seen a quarter like that in Nuggets history. They had a great third quarter against the Knicks too, but it shouldn't take that. You know, it shouldn't take having a big burst in the fourth quarter for the Nuggets to win. And unfortunately for the Nuggets, they just couldn't climb the hill that they built themselves. They just couldn't get over the hump. And that will be the story of this game, as well as Kenneth Faried getting, I think, 3 minutes in this game after not playing at all the previous game. That is going to be an interesting thing to watch. I don't think, with as well as Faried was playing, I don't think people were expecting Faried to, I don't know, miss the last two games, essentially. And even Darrell Arthur got some extended minutes. And Darrell Arthur hadn't got into a single game this year. So that was really, really fascinating to watch how the Nuggets are handling this situation with Kenneth Faried. All in all, it's hard to gauge what this loss means. They didn't play great defense, but at the same time, they weren't terrible. And particularly in the second half, they made huge strides. And considering they were down by 22 heading into halftime, I mean, that's a remarkable comeback. But the Nuggets just couldn't do it, and it just didn't work. They're going to need more from Wilson Chandler. Jamal Murray scored 18 points. He continued his better offensive play. Emmanuel Mudiay had some good offense in the first half, but once again, turnovers and just kind of ill-advised plays in the second half really kind of doomed some good offensive execution that the Nuggets were trying to do. Outside of that, it's going to be interesting to watch the analysis of this game because the Nuggets are coming home for a 6-game road home stand, starting Wednesday against the Raptors. It will be interesting to see how the Nuggets handle this. The Nuggets are the 6-game homestand is a lot of games. It's not like last year when they had a 7-game homestand and an 8-game homestand, but a 6-game homestand is a lot of games. And one included in that homestand is a back-to-back. They play the Heat on Friday and they play the Golden State Warriors on Saturday. It's rare that you see a home back-to-back. So that'll be something to watch. Anyway, those are the thoughts on the Nuggets loss. They lose 116-110. Or I think 115-110. So anyway, thanks for watching. There will be more of these going on. They'll look for them on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel. Subscribe if you want to get notified immediately when these are going up. And it's a good way to do this. I think YouTube does an amazing job with doing these live shows, and I'm glad the reception is better this time than it was last time. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll be talking to you guys later.